Alright, and welcome back to the Darkest Dungeon. We have 3 of our teams leveled up to level 3, so it's 12 characters right there. And it's time to slowly but surely start to reap the benefits of our leveled up areas. The reason why you are leveling up all of the areas at the beginning is that when you are looking through the boss fights, that you can really choose which of the bosses you'd like to do based on their loot. So in order to do that, we're now going to open the fourth dungeon. So we basically have a fourth boss at our leisure or at our convenience. Now, one thing is important to understand, though. We will need to use this and probably the next party and level them up all almost to mid of level 1, maybe beginning of level 2. Because once they hit level 3, they're no longer able to fight against these bosses, at least the green ones. So we need fresh newbie characters to do that. You wouldn't want to start with level 0s though, because they don't have upgraded weapons and so on and so forth. So really around level 1, out of my experience, is a good timing to start. Each of the bosses, of course, requires a little bit different tactics, but we might want to use a group which is omnivalent or can fight many of these bosses. So specifically at the easy version, the bosses are not that complicated. Let's, however, before we talk about bosses, start to free up the Cove and prepare the progress to the boss. We are at Slay the Boss at all of the dungeons, and we are not quite there yet in the Cove. So let's begin with leveling up the Cove. The Cove is an underwater dungeon, which we could use in order to level this group. I've tried to use classes that we haven't seen before. Let me shortly talk through this group. This is now our 4th group that we're going to start, and the group is quite interesting. We got a Helion here at the front line. Helion, in my perspective, is probably the single best melee character class. Excels absolutely at position number 1. Has a very strong kit of damage and has this Barbaric Yaw, which is a dual stun. I love this class. We do have a Bounty Hunter, which is a stunner and a damage dealer, pretty much excels at position 2 to 3, and has some nice little debuffs as well. We have a stress healer and a damage dealer with a jester, probably the best stress healer in the game. Also some really nice camping skills, and we have the vessel, which is the best solo focused healer. So we got stuns, we got the damage, we got the stress heal. What could possibly go wrong? I always hated this dungeon. Out of all of them, this dungeon here has the nastiest bunch of monsters that you can imagine. Mainly because they were having almost all of them have an extra ability. B, the damage that they deal is quite substantial, and C, if you don't take care about them, more often than not, you find yourself in an unfortunate situation. This guy here, for instance, the drone thrall, is going to explode after a certain period. So we need to take care about him rather soon. At the same time, this guy here, the Deep Stinger, is not only dealing bleed damage, but also has the option to stun at the same time. So I really don't like them either. There's almost none of the enemies in this dungeon that I really like. Let's use the recovery phase to just get rid of some of the stress. This party is weaker in terms of healing, but the stress reduction is quite okay. So we just need to complete 100% of the room battles, and the map itself doesn't look awfully complicated. So that's probably going to be straightforward. There we go, yet another stun. Thank you. To make sure that he's not going to explode.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
All right, this is going to be a short run, just to test the party a little bit and make sure that they are working well with one another. Gosh, I hate healers. 11 points of healing, wow.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And of course, our attack, which was supposed to hit the healer, missed. Very unfortunate. Finally. So as you can see, the party works out quite well with regards to stuns. Damage is also fine. The healing is maybe on the weaker end, but that might solve itself a little bit later when we're dealing that much damage that we're overpowering the enemies from the beginning.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Okay, one more battle there and another one there. I remember that these things were pretty good. No. Oh yeah. Very high chance for positive quirk. Lurker. Well, we're not going to do dark runs. Lurker is a good skill. It allows you to increase your damage if the torch is below 26%. But since we're not going to do dark runs, it doesn't matter for us. Alright, we definitely need to heal the bounty hunter. And we need to stun both of them. Luckily for us, we do have a double stun for melee, for position 1 and 2. There we go. Yeah, we're lacking healing. It's definitely noticeable. We're fine on damage and also on stress control, but the healing part sucks a little bit. This one here gets rid of the bleed. There we go.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Alright, the food stabilized us and brought us back to a decent amount of healing. And this is probably the last fight. And one which is one fight which is definitely going to hurt because all of them are pure damage dealer. And as you can see, they dish out a lot of damage if left unchecked. So we need to stun them well and we need to kill them fast. Now all of them are stun resistant because we just stunned them, which means we will need to hopefully kill one or two of them right away. Yeah, there we go. We should be fine now. Although if they were to completely attack the Helion, for instance, they would still get her down, and that shows that these Pelgrim groupers are pretty strong. They are decent damage dealers. And also it also shows us a weakness of this party. as we were not able to withstand that much damage.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Yeah, let's go for the shovel. Open it. Oh, nice. Good, there we go. Pretty solid run for the first time.
Marine life can flourish, if indeed there is such a thing.
Let me do a little bit of town's work, and then we're maybe coming back with some boss battles.